Hey guys, I just want to take another short video with some of the examples now that I've done them all, just to kind of point out a few things. So the first one here I wanted to point out was this really complicated one up here, because I know some of you probably will be looking at that and being like, oh my gosh, how the heck did you get that answer? And what I want you to remember is that it's actually a lot easier than what you think it is. It's just you really have to take piece by piece here, okay? So don't get overwhelmed when you see a bunch of numbers and a bunch of letters. You just take it piece by piece. And the first thing you're gonna do is look at, okay, I have numbers. Look at all your numbers first. Your numbers are 6, 4, and 10. When you look at those numbers, you're gonna ask yourself, what do those numbers have in common? Well, they have 2 as the greatest common factor. Then you're gonna look at all your x's, okay? I have an x8, I have an x17, I have an x8, I have an x14. And once again, you're gonna pick whichever one is the lowest out of all of these, which in this case is x8. And then finally for y, you have y4, y18, y9, and a y21 from the question, okay? And you look at which one is the lowest. The one that's the lowest is the 4, y4. Okay, so the 2, the x to the power of 8 and y to the power of 4 is where I got my greatest common factor, okay, which I put in red for all the examples. And then the way you get the rest of the brackets is, okay, well, what is left? What do I still need? So for my first term is identical to this. So I don't need anything other than to multiply, right? So then I just need a 1 there. Then you have to ask yourself, okay, well, I have a -6. How do I make the 2 to a -6? Well, 2 times -3 will get me to -6. I have an x to the power of 8. How do I get to 17? Well, I have to add my exponents. So 8 plus 9 would give me 17. Y to the power of 4. I need to get to y to the power of 18. 4 plus 14 is going to give me 18. Okay? So you go through and you do that for your questions. Don't get too overwhelmed. Then we have factor by grouping. And I just wanted to point out this example here. So with this example, you see 2x plus y to the power of 2. Okay? What that means is that there's 2 of them, right? 2x plus y and then another 2x plus y multiplying each other. So in this case, the actual grouping, what's in common is 2x plus y, okay? And then what's outside of the brackets is actually that other 2x plus y and -4. And that's how I get 2x plus y minus 4 there, okay? Then down here, you'll notice I've pointed out subtle differences. A plus b is the same thing as b plus a, because even if you did it with an example, you'll notice you still get 5. However, a minus b is different than b minus a. If I did 2 minus 3, that gives me -1. So it's not the same as -3 minus 2, which would give me -5, okay? So in this case, we wouldn't be able to group here because of the fact that this is not actually in common. They're not the same thing. Okay? And then on the last page, where you actually have to make your groups, like I said, I'll take a picture of this as well so you have it in hard copy, also because I know I'm a little shaky with the camera. But there was a couple things like over here where you actually had to rearrange what was grouped together, so it wasn't automatically put in front of you of what you were going to factor. I actually had to move this x to be second so that these two things had x in common. And then I moved these things together because then they had y in common. Okay, and by pulling out an x here, I was left with 3x plus 1, right? So this first part here gave me the x times 3x plus 1. And then the second part here is where I got y multiplied by 3x plus 1. And then I brought together my grouping, okay? So my 3x plus 1 was my group. And then I grouped together what was outside of my bracket. Alrighty, so I really want you guys to take your time with this. Don't get overwhelmed. piece it together, really look at the examples, and try and do as much of the homework as you possibly can. Okay, think of it like a really big puzzle, like a game. Okay, of like, okay, I'm trying to figure out what these things have in common. I need to figure out what's left. Okay, and be able to recognize if you have a group, because that will make your life way easier. Alrighty, please send me your questions. I'll post the 2 videos and then as well the hard copy pictures of everything. Okay, good luck.